Okay, so the one thing I don't like about this F-150 Powerboost is the way they did this oil plug. It just could have been engineered better. You can see it up in there, but you know, they put this little shroud over it right here. So I have decided it's time for me to cut a little pocket in the shroud. So, let's see what happens here. Okay, thinking you can see now what we did. So all I have done is this little shroud you have to take off every time you change your oil. Okay, what I've done is just cut me a little hole to access that plug. Well, so what I'm going to do in a later video, I'm going to show you how we're going to put in a Fumoto valve in here. Fumoto valve is probably the greatest thing I've ever bought in my life. Put it on every vehicle. I have not yet changed the oil on this truck, but this is, you know, here on this channel, we're trying to do everything man, everything outdoors, everything. Well, it doesn't matter if it's men or women, doesn't matter. But anyway, so there's you. If you have the Ecoboost that doesn't have the plastic plug, okay, just kind of get your orientation. Front wheel, it's the protective cover, the little shroud over. And listen, it's not like this is protected very much. I mean, it's just, yeah, and that's it's just nothing. So it's not metal, but this allows you a way to get in right here to this oil plug. See that right? Oh, right there. Well, see, there it is. Okay. So it allows me a way to get into this oil plug. And when I put my Fumoto valve on there, it will literally have a little plastic piece that I will use with a hose. I will pop the hose on there, flip the valve, and I do like where they put that the oil plug here. With a Fumoto valve, you have to worry about, you'll see when I put one in another video, you have to worry about the valve getting hit by a limb or something like that. But the way this is recessed kind of up in there behind all of this piece of the suspension and all, it would be very hard for that to happen in this truck. So that was the one thing they did right. It's not hanging like way down here on the bottom or something. My Tundra was in a really bad spot when I had a Fumoto valve on there, and one time a limb hit it, and it didn't open all the way, but I started dripping. So I closed the valve and it was fine. But yeah, there's your way. Cut you a little access panel, just big enough you to get your tools right here. See, my hand fits in there. I can get a tool. I'm touching the plug right now. So I'll be able to get my tools up in there, get that valve, get that plug out, and put my Fumoto valve on. It's right there, my fingers on it. Put my Fumoto valve on there and make for much easier oil changes. And it's just a simple little fix. All right, now that we have cut the little access hole underneath, okay, we're gonna go right up here. We're gonna drain this oil, and we're gonna then we're gonna do something really, man, if you've never done this, just change your life. Okay, we're gonna install a Fumoto valve. All right, we'll explain that in a minute. That is the greatest $20 you'll ever spend. But we're gonna replace the oil plug there with a Fumoto valve. So the first thing we're gonna do is drain this oil. We're gonna drop this oil here, get this pan ready, and we'll be coming back. Okay, while that's finishing up under there, so what we're gonna be doing here, let's summarize real quick. So we cut a little access hole in the that little cover. It's underneath these F-150s. You say, well, you're cutting something. Could get damaged. Now, listen, this ain't protecting nothing. That ain't nothing. So, we cut an access hole. That way, every time we change the oil, we don't have to come in here and undo all these screws and remove that panel. So we cut a little access hole. Makes life a whole lot easier. And so what we're about to do now is, dun, dun, dun. Okay, we're going to install a Fumoto valve. And for those of you who are not familiar with a Fumoto valve, basically this will replace our oil plug. And the way this works is, so I'll pull that little safety clip off there. There's a clip to keep the valve when you're driving and all from accidentally opening. So the way this works is this will screw in this direction, okay, towards the camera here. And it's got this little nozzle on the end. And then you have a little valve right here. It's just a ball valve. And when you want to drop your oil, you lift up, it's spring loaded in there. Okay. You flip this little valve over, and voila, it opens the ball valve. The oil can flow. You can drain your oil. Now, what's kind of neat is Fumoto figured out a few years ago that they could put this little tip on the end, and they'll now sell you with it a little clear hose. I don't know, it's 4 or 5 feet. It's way longer than what you need. So when you get ready to change your oil, you put the little hose on there, run the hose down into your drain, you know, wherever you put draining your oil, doesn't matter. You could actually drain it into empty oil like containers if you had them. But however you drain it, wherever you put your oil, and there's no mess. You literally reach up in there, flip this valve open, oil flows out, and when it's done, you take this valve and you close it back, boom, and it clicks. It's spring loaded. See how that works? Okay. If you have never used a Fumoto valve, they make one for almost every vehicle out there. Okay, I've had every make of vehicle you can imagine. They make one for everything because it's really just a thread pattern, right? And then when you close it, obviously you can see the ball valve's now closed. They're fantastic. They will make changing oil very quick. You don't even have to get a wrench out. You just reach up in there, flip the little valve over, book, and oil comes out. And man, it's awesome. So if you don't have one, go to Fumoto's webpage, Fumoto. This is an F-137. You can get it with the long little nozzle, a shorter nozzle. You can actually get it with no nozzle. I've had them every way. This is the way I like them the best. Now, if you're in a situation where the truck you're in or the car you're in has an oil plug like this, okay, this one enters on, is on the side of the oil pan. If you have it on the bottom, they make little different, some different shapes, and you may not want the little nozzle. It's completely up to you. But anyway, there's a bunch of different designs. This $20 here will, good grief, y'all will send me, I promise you I'm going to be on your Christmas list. Y'all will send me Christmas cards over this one. So this will be done here, draining in just a minute, and we'll get that installed, and we'll show you how it works. All right, so in this particular video, we're not going to deal with the filter. That's another story. The oil filter on these can be a booger, but anyway, we'll do that in another video. But we're barely still dripping here. But what we're going to do, we're going to take this Fumoto valve, right? And there's a little bit of oil, and that oil is not terribly dirty, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing. See how dirty I can get, right? There we go. All right, hold on just a second. I'll show you what I'm doing here. It's always fun. Yeah, I got oil in my hand. Thank God I'll never have a messy oil change on an F-150, this F-150 again. All right, so you can see it just screws in. Now these are, this particular one I believe is, I think it's 17 millimeter. So, let me see. Can you see what I'm doing right there? No, you can't. So anyway, all right, well, I'm going to get this kind of hand tight. And, you know, the only tricky part about a Fumoto valve is you want to get it where when you're tightened, you can kind of get to the valve, right? You see the valve is actually on top right now, which is not ideal, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. Sometimes you just got to work with it. You don't have to go super tight on these things. They got a little paper washer in there, and of course the you know, the valve's not going to be where I want it to be, but don't want to get too aggressive with that. All right, so now we have our Fumoto valve installed. So whenever I want to change oil in the future, right, what I'm going to do is I'll come out here. I'll install my little vinyl hose right here. I'll run it down to wherever I want. And I'll literally reach up in, and the valve is right. Oh yeah, I can get my hand right on it. You're not gonna be able to see it, but right behind my thumb is where, right there is where that valve is, right? I don't know if you see it right. Well, you can't have see it. Anyway, it's right on top. So with the vinyl hose on here, it'll literally be no mess. I'll just put my hand up in there, and actually, now that I know where it's at, I can put my finger, my middle finger on it right there. Yep. And I can turn it. So, all right. So there we go. There's your Fumoto valve, and makes life so easy on oil changes. So hopefully this video has helped you with how to create an easier access hole right underneath your F-150 so that you can get into the oil plug without having to take this off every time. And that'll save you some time. And put in a Fumoto valve, that'll save you a whole bunch of time. So whenever we do an oil change with the Fumoto valve, which I'm now installing, that'll be my next oil change. Maybe at that time I'll do the one on the filter, but if nothing else, obviously you'll get to see how it works. It's so easy. Anyway, y'all have a good day.